Hello guys and welcome back to I'm a Celeb Catch Up, and today we have got so much to talk about that it is unbelievable. And when I say so much, no, there's not actually that much to talk about. I always feel like so much happens in the episode and then I come to talk about it and I'm like, oh, this happened and this happened, and I don't really have any like strong opinions on anything. But there are a couple of things that I do have strong opinions on, and we will get into that. But I just want to say thank you guys for the support on the channel. You guys have been amazing. We hit 400 subscribers a couple of days ago. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but for someone that has started a channel from scratch, it's a big achievement. And especially seeing as though I switched what I was doing about 6-7 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago, it's given me a good idea of sort of what I want to do moving forward with this channel. And yeah, so thank you guys very, very much for watching, and let's get straight into the episode. So the first part of the episode was dedicated to what happened before the trial that saw Frankie, Josie, Danielle, Marvin, and Fred head off to win some stars. So, a lot actually happened here, and it's gonna get a little bit nitty gritty when I talk about it. So, starting off, Nick was asleep when Jamie's exit was revealed, so he woke up in the morning, was like, "Where's Jamie?" "Oh, she's gone." "Oh, okay, brilliant." I can't believe no one woke Nick up. That is so funny to me. The next thing that happened was Fred accidentally dropped the stock cubes in the fire. Do you know what? I thought when I first watched it, I was like, Tony was being rude when he confronted Fred about it. But then I was like, hang on a minute, let me rewatch that. I think Fred was very nonchalant about it. He should have been a lot more apologetic about the fact that he has just thrown away 1.5 stock cubes by pure fluke and then just went, oh, okay, it don't matter. But like for Tony, who doesn't like the rice as it is because he doesn't like the taste of it, those stock cubes made him eat and was keeping him like full essentially. But now that they're gone, he's going to go back to not eating the rice. So I can understand why he's pissed off and why he's angry with Fred. Fred also upset Nella Rose and Josie because for some unknown reason, he was going through the washing up and the washing that was done the previous night. And he was like, this isn't clean, this isn't clean, this isn't clean. And kind of dumped the unclean stuff on the floor. So essentially, it became even more unclean, which was a bit of a problem. And it got to the point where Nella Rose and Josie had gone to sort of look at it, and they were like, oh, well, this is a piss take because he's just thrown it on the floor, he's dashed it on the floor, and now it's even more dirty. So like, I gotta admit, I'm on Nella Rose and Josie's side with this, because Fred was being a little bit of a dick this morning, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like, was it on purpose? Was he meaning to? Like, was it just sort of he was having a bad morning and just took it out on people by accident? I don't know, but it just seemed really out of character and a bit spiteful, I guess. So yeah, and then Sam obviously brought everyone back together and was like, "Look, let's have a meeting about it. We're gonna put Danielle on the cooking, and we're gonna put Nick as the person who has to bring all the washing down to the ladies, so that they're not having to trek backwards and forwards." Which I think is a good idea, and I think it will solve some problems. But like, Fred, dude, chill out a little bit, please. Okay, let's talk about the Barbaric Barbershop. I gotta say, what a great trial name, first of all. That was someone who came up with that. They deserve a raise, because that was quite good. And I gotta say, this trial was very, very entertaining. However, I have said in the past that I think the trials this season have been too easy. This one I felt was ridiculously hard, and I think that was a little bit of a problem because it got to the point where one person left and it just caused everything to get 10 times more complicated. And that's why I think it should have been, so essentially the way the trial worked is everybody had to work together. They had to put their head in a box, a critter that was voted by the public would be put into their box, and they had to lick the stars off of the screws, piece them together with other people's pieces in order to make stars. So essentially, the star pieces in your box did not make the stars for your chair, or for, like, they didn't fit together. So you had to pass them along the table. So essentially, you've got, what was it? It was 12 stars total. Was it 12 stars or was it 10 stars? It's 10 stars because there's only 10 people left in Gamp. So it's 10 stars. Everybody had what, 2 pieces in there? No, it must have been 4 pieces, because if each one was split into 2, that would be 20, and then divided by 5, so they each had 4 in their thing. But those 4 didn't match up, so they had to keep passing them down the line. I just think it was an overly complicated trial, and this is what I said about what trial did I say this about a couple of days ago? That I thought it was just ridiculously difficult for no reason. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So what I was going to say was, I just feel like it was tough. It was tough. And what happened is, let's go through each of the celebrities. So Fred and Marvin got snakes in there. They handled themselves quite well. Frankie had cockroaches. Danielle had rats. And there was a moment where she was told, "Oh, they're just rabbits," and it was like, they don't sound like rabbits, Marv," and that just really made me chuckle. And Josie unfortunately had spiders. Now, I know I harped on about sort of, I've been tough on people quitting this series. I've been really, really tough on people quitting this series. I'm not tough on people quitting because of spiders, because I have an intense phobia of spiders. If I was in that box, I don't think I would be able to handle myself very well. I think I probably would have freaked out. Soon as I felt it crawling on me, oh, get me out. No, actually get me out, because fuck that. No, thank you. However, I do feel so, my heart really, really went out to Josie, because I knew she really wanted to try and tackle this phobia. But when it gets so intense and so sort of, you get in such a headspace, and it's not like a fear of heights where, like, you can do a skydive and you know, like, 99% of the time you're going to survive it. Spiders are such an intense phobia that, like, I can't blame her for it. And if anything, it makes me want to support her even more, because I'm like, do you know what, Big Queen, you tried your best. You didn't give up straight away. You gave it as good a go as you possibly could, and then that was it. That's all you could do. So essentially, with her quitting the trial, they immediately lost 4 stars, which is wild. That's crazy. So essentially, with the 4 of them, the maximum they could get is 6. Then Marvin ended up dropping 1, so they were down to 5, and then they ended up getting 4 overall. But it was ridiculously difficult, because once Josie was out of the chain, Danielle was having to pass them to Frankie on mirrors, and I just thought it was a bit stupid and a bit pointless. I will say they did let Josie give advice and help a little bit. So, like, she wasn't completely out of the trial, which some people have said, like, that's not on, but, like, I don't care. They weren't going to get any stars if she didn't help. Like, genuinely, her strategy got them 4 stars. Marvin managed to get 1 on his own, but they were just putting pieces together that just weren't going together, and there was just no strategy. But once Josie was like, put them all on a mirror and then try and match them up on there, because you'll be able to see which ones line up together, they managed to get 4. Genuinely buzzer beater. They managed to get the 4th one, I think, 1 second before the time was up. So it was a very, very interesting, very, very exhilarating trial, but it just seemed overly complicated for no reason whatsoever. It's time for some random moments from this episode that really made me chuckle. First up, Sam got Tony Bellew to cream his back, and then Sam came up with the hilariously quotable, once you've creamed a man, once you've creamed another man's back, "You're friends for life" or something like that. It was something along those lines. It was definitely the words creamed another man's back, and it just made me howl with laughter. Sam genuinely is the funniest person in the jungle, and I think I'm going to have to start listening to his podcast because he's actually so funny. And like, I've been watching a lot of TikToks about him and Pete Wicks. Like, I didn't know they had a podcast. I did know they had a podcast, but I wouldn't say I listened to it at all. I just saw sometimes it on TikTok. I'd watch it and I'd be like, okay, cool, cool, cool. But now that I've gotten to know him, and like, I feel like I'm getting to know Pete Wicks from like their TikTok now, yeah, I'm down to start listening to the podcast. As for later on, they were talking about, oh, I say they, Marvin, Sam, and Josie were talking about the ADHD diagnosis, and I gotta say, it was really, really like lovely to see Sam being so open and honest with people, and to see Josie and Marvin giving him that support and being like, no, you're not different, like we wouldn't have you any other way, etc, etc. Like, it's so lovely to hear, because so many people that I know didn't get diagnosed when they were young, and now they have been diagnosed, and suddenly their whole life just makes a lot more sense. And I feel like that definitely does happen to a lot more people than you realize. So yeah, that was really, really lovely, I gotta say. There was also a really, really funny moment later on. They had what did they have for dinner? Boar rump or something like that. And then Josie was talking about how she thinks that Ryland's really attractive, and Ryland's like her dream man, but obviously he's batting for the other side. Oh, bless Josie. She's actually so funny. Her and Sam are my top two for this series. They have been consistently entertaining. They have funny moments episode after episode. They've never been in any kind of controversy, as far as I remember, on the show at least. So yeah, I really, really like them, and they're really, really funny. Okay, normally I think that the Dingo Dollar challenges are really dull sometimes, or they're not very interesting, or they're just a bit pointless, but this one was so funny and so entertaining. Sam and Tony had to go to the woods, and they were shown a load of phones that had ringtones on them, and the ringtones would sound, and back in the camp they'd be told a ringtone name and the ringtone sound, and they'd have to relay the sound and the name to everybody. So it's essentially Chinese whispers with the name of the ringtone and the tune. So like, can you imagine the entire camp? And when I tell you, Marvin pitch perfect at the beginning, he would get every single one pitch perfect. Then Nella would slightly change the pitch, and then it would go to Josie, and Josie would slightly change the pitch, and then by the time it got to Sam, it was a completely different pitch, roughly the same tune, but it was not as recognizable as when Marvin gave it to Nella. It was genuinely such a funny, entertaining task, and I gotta say, I really, really enjoyed just the montage of everyone just relaying the different sounds backwards and forwards. And then Sam and Tony have such a funny dynamic, to the point where I don't know whether Tony actually likes Sam or not. I think he likes Sam in a "you're sweet" way, but my god, this man gave him the stankiest looks, because Sam is getting so sort of excited about the fact he's doing all these challenges, and Tony's just like, dude, chill. And then when Sam's like, oh, that was that was our decision, and Tony's like, no, that was your decision, mate. I'm not taking any credit for that if it's wrong. They do have quite an entertaining dynamic, not one that I would have expected, but it was genuinely entertaining. And then obviously they managed to get the Dingo Dollars. They managed to go to Kiosk Kev at his ice cream shop. And what was it this time? So last time it was crisps. This time it was like chocolate bars. Like, not bars of chocolate, but like little chocolate biscuit things. The question was, what was Sam's first job on Made in Chelsea, I think it was? And the options were like Jamie Lang's intern, a pot washer at a fancy restaurant, like a cafe, or what was the middle one? I actually don't remember, but it was Jamie Lang's intern, and I think the fact that what gave it away was the fact that it was naming someone from Made in Chelsea that made me go, oh, it's probably that one. So yeah, that was quite entertaining. They managed to get it correct, and they got the biscuits, but when I tell you everyone got like half a biscuit each, it's actually embarrassing how stingy they are. It's so funny, but also like that half a bar of like sort of chocolate biscuit would have, yeah, that would have finished me off. I would have been like, oh, so good. Let it just sit on my tongue and melt. Oh, lovely. So yeah, and it was also Tony's birthday, which was quite entertaining. They gave him a bone necklace, which apparently stunk. Yeah, I think he took it off after like 2 seconds, and then they serenaded him with a happy birthday song. So yeah, just an overall entertaining time, really fun, and I gotta say, it was a decent episode. I enjoyed myself. It was an hour and I think it was just an hour actually, so it wasn't actually too painful. But tonight is an hour and a half, and I'm just wondering what they're gonna do to fill that time because they've got a trial. Like last time it was an hour and a half, they had like 2 trials and a dingo dollar, so that makes sense. But this week tonight they've only got 1 trial, so like I just don't know what they're gonna do. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Keep on ranting. Bye now.